Hello, and welcome to episode 243 of Prog Review. And if you haven't read the title or description, I'm talking about Brain Salad Surgery. This is the Super Deluxe edition, which has an LP and 3 CDs and DVDs and whatnot, and replica posters, and it's very good. I'm going to kind of be comparing it to this one, which was just the regular Super Deluxe. There's Deluxe. There's Super Deluxe, and Super Duper Deluxe. No, there isn't, I made that one up. But yes, I'm going to kind of be talking about those two. It was, reissued this week. It's ELP's fourth studio album, originally released on the 19th of November 1973. Probably their most iconic record, probably the biggest album they released. Features the cover art by H.R. Geiger, who unfortunately passed this week, literally a day after this big box set came out. Geiger not only designed the artwork and the sleeve, he designed the LP logo that we're quite familiar with, which is I don't think that's mentioned enough. That was quite sad. But yeah, back to the box set. It's it's one of those ones where they've gone through everything. They've remastered and rejiggered and remixed and gone through the cupboards. It's one of those kind of box sets. Comes with a lovely 20-page glossy booklet, which is good. You've got mentions from the band. Not in great detail, but Chris Welch does a good job of talking about the times, and like I say, you get little paragraphs from each member of the band talking about their thoughts of the record, which is pretty good, as well as the replica poster. I mean, the only downside is it didn't have the album didn't have the fold out original packaging that the original came with, which was a bit of a disappointment. I think I mentioned that in my unboxing. If you peel back, you can watch that. Now, the thing is with remastering is some remastering is loud and some remastering is quiet, and this one was remastered and I quite like this one. I thought it was punchy, had a certain oomph to it, though it did get grating during Carnival 9. It was a bit intense on the ears. With the remastering of this, they've gone quiet again. They've gone for quiet, which is okay. It's, again, if you're those people that talk about compression and dynamics, you're going to love the remastering of this, because they've toned it down a bit. Whereas I like the punchy version on here. But hold that thought. So disc 2, you have this what they call the alternative Brain Salad Surgery. On this, it's called bonus tracks. Basically, as far as I can figure out, and I've kind of compared them, it's basically a retread of what you get on here, but I think you get one extra bit or 2 extra tracks. It's very confusing. Yeah, you get 2 extra tracks, which is an instrumental version of Brain Salad Surgery and another version of Carnival 9/3 Impression, I think. Yeah. Again, in terms of sound quality, they're pretty cool. They're comparable. They're interchangeable. If you're a purist, if you really want to know how these things are put together, the alternative versions are, they're interesting to hear. But I wouldn't necessarily. I sound jaded. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're essential, because I'd already heard them on this. So it's like, oh, wait a minute, I think I've heard all this before. Unless they are completely new mixes, I don't know. It's very hard to keep track, but from the little bit of A to B stuff I've done, it did sound very, very similar. And then you come on to the third disc, which is the new stereo versions. Now, the new stereo versions, they're new. Wow. But they also have the same kind of punchiness that you found on the remastering of this one, which I thought was peculiar. So you have the original one's kind of quietly remastered with all the dynamics left in there, and with the stereo version they've kind of really lifted it. And if you compare like Jerusalem, the 2 versions of that, Greg Lake's vocals, the way that they sit in the mix, are completely different. The original version is kind of buried somewhat with a lot of reverb in this, brought more to the fore. Is the new stereo version better than the old? Oh, it's apples and oranges, isn't it? There's bits of it that are all right. I mean, he doesn't take any liberties with it. I think it's Jacko Jackson who put those together. You know, there's nothing there that's going to make you go, oh, I don't like it. I mean, you know, it sounded all right. It sounded a bit more zingy. So you know, that was yeah, it's all right. But it's the original remaster version. Like I say, do catch up that you get on the LP, on the vinyl. And the vinyl is very good. It's nice and thick. It sounds very, very good. I mean, I've got an old vinyl version of it, and it's nowhere near as good in comparison. But I've got a feeling it's to do with the quality of vinyl back in the 70s more than, you know, and pressing. It's very, very thin. Whereas this is lovely 180 gram vinyl, so you know it's worth having for that. But the real good part is the DVD audio, or the regular DVD, or what you want to call it. Supersonic brain salad surgery. Supersonic. Because it's better than the surround sound version than this one. Because there was a surround sound version on an SACD that came with this, and while it was okay, like I said, Greg Lake's vocals seem to have been, you know, kind of mixed weirdly and kind of pushed back. Here they've brought forward, everything just sounds more uniform. It just sounds, you know, a much better job than this version. I think this version sounds a bit rubbish in comparison. So yeah, the surround sound version gets an absolutely stunning thumbs up from me. I thought it was quite cool. I thought it was very good. Yeah, the only criticism was the ship's computer, the robot voice at the end. They put it out the back, and it just seemed a little bit lost. It needed a bit more. But then that's the same with the stereo mix, isn't it? Or just, I think it should have always been a little bit more louder and a little bit more, I don't know, booming and scary. But it's kind of lost, and so that's it. And you also get all the other mixes on there as well in high res. Yeah. So then, because there's more, there is the documentary about the band, the Manticore special documentary, which the quality of which leaves a lot to be desired. Now, a clip of this was used on Beyond the Beginning, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer collection of clips, and that, and there was, some of that was used on that, and they cleaned it up and it looked nice. But this, it was a bit stuttery, and you know, I don't know how they transferred it, but it looked a bit iffy. But no, it's a really interesting documentary, seeing the band on the road. And again, I don't know where, I think I'd seen it somewhere before, but I couldn't place it. Maybe it was on, more of it was on Beyond the Beginning, I realised. But no, fascinating to see what it was like back in the 1970s on the road with the band. So yeah, I mean, as a package, I mean, it's a pretty solid package, you know, for the money. I mean, it's £61, and I think, you know, for what you get, I actually think that's quite good value, because you not only do you get the LP, but you get, you know, the three CDs versions. Again, if you haven't got this, then it's excellent value. But if you kind of got it, then you might cock a snook at it. That's without the surround sound version and the booklet and the, you know, and the thing. I think they've done a very, very good job pulling this together. I don't think anyone could be disappointed with it, really, unless you own this. But if you own this, put it on eBay, and you probably get enough money back for this to buy that, because these are hard to find these days. These are a bit collectible. I don't know how it works. So yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty good reissue actually. Yeah, I think for once they pitched it at the right price. The only downside is, like I said, the original opening, you know, gatefold sleeve, you know, the way it opened. That's not part of the packaging, but hey, that would probably put the cost up, wouldn't it? I suppose it's a compromise. You can't have everything in your life, but apart from that, I think it's a very good package. If you love the album, you're going to absolutely be off your nut with this. You're going to absolutely love it. Yeah, and Jacko Jacek did a very good job of doing the mix. Quite interesting they got him instead of Stephen Wilson, but hey, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes, and you'll hear differences. You will hear differences. So anyway, as a rating, yeah, I'm going to give this. Solid. It's a solid. Oh yeah, it's a solid 5 Benny the Bouncers out of 5. That's 5 Benny the Bouncers out of 5 because for once they pitched it right. I think they got it just right. I don't think you can complain about the price and all the stuff you get with it. They've brought all the elements back together, all the rarities and B-sides and that, all back together, and the video components. It makes it a very compelling, an interesting historical document of LP's top album. So there you go. It's a runaway success. I mean, this is for an album. I've actually learnt to love it a little bit more. You know, it's a bit more playful. A bit more playful than how I remembered it back in the day and recently. So yeah, I learnt to love it. Mind you, I feel like I've been brainwashed. If you play something enough over and over again, it's Stockholm Syndrome. You learn to love your captor. Anyway, my name's been Darren Locke, and I've been whittering on indeed about Brain Salad Surgery, the Super Deluxe edition from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Get it while you can. There's a cut down version which will have 2 CDs and a DVD, which I think they're putting out at about 12 quid, which I think is very good if you don't want all the bits and bobs. I might pick that up just to see what it's like, but I think that's coming out. I don't know if it's coming out next month or the end of this month, but you know, if you can't afford this and you want the surround sound and the extra tracks, that's one to look for. So that's it. Well, there we go. Welcome back, my friends. This show unfortunately does end, but that means I've got to say one more thing, and that one more thing is Prog on.